Welcome to another SCP video. This one is rather fitting considering everything that's going on in the world right now. If you enjoy these videos, definitely subscribe and let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more SCP videos in the future. Enjoy. SCP-049. Item number SCP-049. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-049 is to be contained within a standard, secure humanoid containment cell in Research Sector 2 at Site 19. SCP-049 must be sedated before any attempts to transport it. During transport, SCP-049 must be secured within a Class 3 humanoid restriction harness, including a locking collar and extension restraints, and monitored by no fewer than 2 armed guards. While SCP-049 is generally cooperative with most Foundation personnel, outbursts or sudden changes in behaviour are to be met with elevated force. Under no circumstances should any personnel come into direct contact with SCP-049 during these outbursts. In the event SCP-049 becomes aggressive, the application of lavender, L. multifida, has been shown to produce a calming effect on the entity. Once calmed, SCP-049 generally becomes compliant and will return to containment with little resistance. In order to facilitate the ongoing containment of SCP-049, the entity is to be provided with the corpse of a recently deceased animal, typically a bovine or other large mammal, once every 2 weeks for study. Corpses that become instances of SCP-049-2 are to be removed from SCP-049's containment cell and incinerated. SCP-049 is no longer permitted to interact with human subjects, and requests for human subjects are to be denied. Temporary Containment Procedure Update. See Addendum 049.3. Per Containment Committee Order 049.S19.17.1, SCP-049 is no longer permitted to interact directly with any members of Foundation staff, nor is it to be provided with any additional corpses to be used in its surgeries. This order shall persist indefinitely, until such time a consensus regarding the ongoing containment of SCP-049 can be reached. Description: SCP-049 is a humanoid entity roughly 1.9 meters in height, which bears the appearance of a medieval plague doctor. While SCP-049 appears to be wearing the thick robes and ceramic mask indicative of that profession, the garments instead seem to have grown out of SCP-049's body over time, and are now nearly indistinguishable from whatever form is beneath them. X-rays indicate that despite this, SCP-049 does have a humanoid skeletal structure beneath its outer layer. SCP-049 is capable of speech in a variety of languages, though tends to prefer English or medieval French. While SCP-049 is generally cordial and cooperative with Foundation staff, it can become especially irritated or at times outright aggressive if it feels it is in the presence of what it calls the pestilence. Although the exact nature of this pestilence is currently unknown to Foundation researchers, it does seem to be an issue of immense concern to SCP-049. SCP-049 will become hostile with individuals it sees as being affected by the pestilence, often having to be restrained should it encounter such. If left unchecked, SCP-049 will generally attempt to kill any such individual. SCP-049 is capable of causing all biological functions of an organism to cease through direct skin contact. How this occurs is currently unknown, and autopsies of SCP-049's victims have invariably been inconclusive. SCP-049 has expressed frustration or remorse after these killings, indicating they have done little to kill the pestilence, though will usually seek to perform a crude surgery on the corpses using the implements contained within a black doctor's bag it carries on its person at all times. While these surgeries are not always successful, they often result in the creation of instances of SCP-049-2. SCP-049-2 instances are reanimated corpses that have been operated on by SCP-049. These instances do not seem to retain any of their prior memories or mental functions, having only basic motor skills and response mechanisms. While these instances are generally inactive, moving very little and in a generally ambulatory fashion, they can become extremely aggressive if provoked or if directed to by SCP-049. SCP-049-2 instances express active biological functions, though these are vastly different from currently understood human physiology. Despite these altercations, SCP-049 often remarks that the subjects have been cured. Addendum 049.1 Discovery. SCP-049 was discovered during the investigation of a series of unknown disappearances in the town of Montauban in southern France. During a raid on a local home, investigators found several instances of SCP-049-2 as well as SCP-049. While law enforcement personnel engaged the hostile 049-2 instances, 049 was noted as watching the engagement and taking notes in its journal. After all the 049-2 instances were dispatched, 049 willingly entered Foundation custody. The following interview was conducted by Dr. Raymond Ham during the initial investigation. Interviewer Dr. Raymond Ham. Site 85. Interviewee SCP-049. Begin log.
Alors, commanderiez-vous commencer une introduction?
Is that French? Can we get a translator?
The King's English. No need for a translator, sir. I can speak it well enough.
Good. My name is Dr. Raymond Hammond, and I...
A doctor. A like-minded individual, no doubt. Wherein is your speciality, sir?
Cryptobiology. Why?
A medical man, such as myself. Wonders abound. And here I worried I had been abducted by common street thugs.
Looks around the room.
This place, then. This is your laboratory. I had wondered, as clean as it is, and with such little trace of the pestilence here.
The pestilence? What do you mean?
The scourge. The great dying. Come now, you know,
Taps temple furiously.
what is it they call it? No matter. The pestilence, yes. It abounds outside these walls, you know. So many have succumbed, and many more will continue to, until such time as a perfect cure can be developed.
Leans back in its chair.
Fortunately, I am very close. It is my duty in life to rid the world of it, you see. The cure to end all cures.
When you say the great dying, are you talking about the bubonic plague?
I don't know what that is.
I see. Right. Well, the entities our agents encountered at that house, they were dead when you encountered them, yes? And you reanimated them?
In a manner of speaking. You see things too simply, Doctor. Expand your horizons. Life and death, sickness and health. These are amateur terms for amateur physicians. There is only one ailment that exists in the world of men, and that is the pestilence, and nothing else. Make no mistake, they were very ill, all of them.
You think you cured those people?
Indeed, my cure is most effective.
The things we recovered were not human. Pauses and glares at Dr. Ham.
Yes, well, it is not a perfect cure, but that will come with time, and further experimentation. I have spent a lifetime developing my methods, Dr. Ham, and I will spend a lifetime more, if necessary. Now, we have wasted too much time. There is work to do. I will require a laboratory of my own, one where I can continue my research unimpeded, and assistance, of course, though I can provide those on my own in time.
I don't think our organization will be willing to...
Nonsense! We are all men of science. Fetch your coat and show me my quarters, Doctor.
Gestures with pointed stick.
Our work begins now.
End log. Interviewer's note. While SCP-049 is capable of communicating in a very human way, there is a strange sense of unease one experiences when in its presence. Make no mistake, there is something very uncanny about this entity indeed. Additionally, we've confiscated that pointed stick that SCP-049 keeps waving around. Part of this was due to standard confiscation protocols for the possessions of anomalies, and part because 049 really is a menace swinging it around like he does. The entity was displeased at first, but after we made some concessions in providing it with test subjects, which are admittedly more for the benefit of our own research, it warmed up to the idea. Addendum 049.2 Observation Log. While in containment at Site 19, SCP-049 has spent a considerable amount of time studying and performing surgery on the various mammalian corpses it has been provided. SCP-049 will routinely spend several days performing surgery, and then, regardless of whether or not the corpse becomes an instance of SCP-049-2, spending several more days documenting its findings in a thick leather journal stored within its doctor's bag. SCP-049 will often seek to sharing its findings with members of Foundation staff. For the full observation log and further interviews with Dr. Ham before his ultimate demise at the hands of SCP-049, please refer back to the Foundation's online database. This video was brought to you by my patrons. With your support over on Patreon, I can keep making videos like this, and it's more sustainable for me. There's a bunch of different tier levels you can pledge to and get extra content from me, like line work scans, creepypasta videos, and some other stuff. So it's a really good way to help support the channel and enable me to keep doing these videos for you guys. But if you're not able to support me over there, that's completely fine. Just giving the video a thumbs up, subscribing, and leaving a comment also really helps out in the YouTube algorithm. If you'd like to see more SCP videos, let me know in the comments. If enough people want them, I'll keep making them. But I'll catch you guys next week in the next drawing video. I'll see you then. Bye.